Now
We've been live for 2 minutes.
no, but it said that last time too. Okay. Hi, everyone. Kim Antonucci with Movement Mortgage. This is Kimmy Talks. And today it's Wednesday, so we're talking real estate. And I have a special guest with me.
Hi, everybody.
So let's see. We have Jake Kippen with us. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? What company are you with?
Sure. I am born and raised in Syracuse. I went to school in Rochester. I'm with Rooftop Realty. I'm an associate broker with them. I've been doing real estate I've been in the industry for almost a decade, between, getting my license in 2014 and I did what you did for a little while. I was a mortgage lender and now an associate broker helping people buy and sell real estate. And this is what? Realtor Wednesday, Real Talks.
So you broke free from lending.
I did.
You didn't
Yeah,
want the
I
gas.
did. It was fun, but this side is just interesting.
All right.
I like doing this side of things.
Okay, sounds good. Well, you stay in your lane and I'll stay in my lane.
That's
Then
fine.
how's
That's
that?
Fine. You do your thing, I'll do mine.
Sounds good. So, what are some things you learned along the way as you grew your business over the last decade?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is patience. I mean, and it's not that I wanted to learn it that way, but it's almost forced upon you in this business because, it's a lot of the world is give me now. Whereas this business, and I mean, sure you can attest, it's kind of the same kind of, you start from ground zero and you work your way up.
Yeah.
It just, you learn patience along the way. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I've learned. And it helps me be successful because you have to be patient.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just dive into and, close, $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year. You have to work your way up to doing that. So.
Yeah, for sure. So, what types of buyers do you typically work with or I guess a clientele in general?
I mean, it varies. I don't really have like a specific buyer, specific seller that I work with. I work with anybody that's open to working with me, who's working, who wants to trust my process and who wants to understand how, like I said, I was a mortgage lender, how that side of things works and how the real estate side of things works.
Yeah. And that's really awesome. I mean, I feel like you are one up with that because you kind of know the ins and outs for, the other side of things, which is the lending side of things, which is really great.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I think it gives, my clients definitely an extra sort of insight as to, when we're looking at houses, every house is different. Yeah. Every borrower is different. Every buyer is different. So, to have that knowledge and be able to place somebody with the right lender at the right time in their, in their right state of life, then, it makes all the difference, making the process easy, smooth, and getting them into the house.
Yeah, so, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So, what is a common misconception about your job?
I think, well, there's quite a few misconceptions, and there's actually two viewpoints: people getting into real estate for the first time, and people, actually using a real estate agent. It's tough to buy a house right now without an agent. It's tough to sell your house without an agent. Mm-hmm. So you definitely want to be able to have an agent that you're able to use. But I think a lot of misconception is, realtors are overpaid. They don't work for what they do. And things like that, which is actually the contrary. Realtors do a lot of work behind the scenes. I mean, we're writing contracts, we're calling clients, we're calling appraisers, we're calling mortgage lenders. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get the best deal for our buyers or for our sellers. And at the same token, you're constantly learning, and you're constantly changing with the market.
Yeah, I was
too.
gonna say you're constantly educating yourselves, just like we have to. But I heard something crazy. So you guys have is it every year or every 2 years you're continuing education?
So yeah, every 2 years.
And
we
it's
have
like
to
an
do-
astronomical amount, people. Like every year I have continuing education. I believe it's about 11 hours right now. But
Right.
what is
Every
yours?
2 years, we have to do 22 and a half hours of education.
So
Yeah, and it's, you got to keep up with it, or else your license expires and you
Yeah.
can't renew your license.
And I'm sure you're constantly learning or educating yourself on the market as it's making its turns and shifts. And
it changes every day, obviously, as you know. And at the same time, you have to be up on it. You have to be, in this market, you almost have to be a full-time agent to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, I've
just 'cause
heard
it
that.
changes so quickly, and houses are just going too fast to have to, wait to go and see them. You got to see them then.
Yeah. So are you finding in this market, like I know we're experiencing low inventory and all of this, but are you finding that your clients are having to get creative and having to explore different options as far as getting into the home, whether it's, renovation loans or different types of lending? Are you finding that they're really having to be very creative in this kind of market?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be creative, obviously, to get something accepted in this market. The traditional price and terms is not just going to get the deal done now.
Right.
You have to, include things that really kind of sweeten the deal. For if you're a seller, you're kind of in control. You have all the control, you have all the power. And, to be honest with you, every offer that my buyers put in, we're usually up anywhere between, we're up against anywhere between 5 and 15 offers.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to be creative. You have to think outside the box when you're making these offers, and you kind of, you got to just go put your best foot forward.
Yeah. So, you tell your buyers they have to be fully prepared, pre-approval, remove as many contingencies as you can.
Absolutely.
All of this stuff. But what are you telling your sellers that you have a consult with too? Because everybody's so concerned about the buyer winning the deal in this type of market. And it's true. The buyers do struggle in this market to win, but the sellers have a challenge too, because they're up against all these offers and this type of market as well.
Yeah, it's for sellers it's a little bit easier than the buyers, but still at the same time, when sellers are making a decision, they have to look at the whole picture, right? They can't just, they might just not base it off a purchase price. They might look at the terms. Does this have a home inspection versus not a home inspection? Does this have a radon versus not a radon?
Right.
Does this have a lot of times offers in this market will come in with an appraisal clause saying if it doesn't meet appraisal, who's going to cover that, right? So sellers have to be aware if they get an offer that's 20, 30, maybe $40,000 over asking, and it doesn't appraise, what happens?
Right.
So you have to.
And that's why I think it's so important to have a real estate agent representing you, because they are there to run the comps for you and support you and help you through all of this. Even as a seller, it's so important to have an agent, because they're going to guide you through this, and they're going to help you figure out what's really in all these offers. Now are coming over, and they're so jam-packed with stuff that it's sometimes hard if you don't have a good agent that's there behind you helping you sort through all of them. So
and the other thing is too, a lot of people, I do see, some people try to list their house on their own and this and that and the other. what happens when something like this happens behind the scenes. Realtors, we know what to do.
Yeah.
We've done this. We're seasoned in it, right?
Right.
A lot of times if you're doing it on your own, you might not know what to do next.
Yeah. And then you go into panic.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you tell someone that wants to pursue real estate now?
As a career
In this market?
If you can make it in this market, you can do anything you want.
Okay.
It's the hardest market that I've seen in 10 years of doing this. And it will push the limits. It will test your patience.
So maybe now is a good time because it'll be your biggest challenge.
And if you
can overcome it,
you can make it now, you can do anything you want.
Cool. I like it.
But again, you have to, like going back to what we said originally, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
Patience, persistence, and just keep pushing.
So I was wondering if you could share a story about a funny moment that may have happened in your career.
There's like, there's odd moments and there's funny moments, but nothing really sticks out as like super funny or super fun. But I do have one that sticks out as super creepy.
I love creepy.
Go super creepy.
Is it gonna be like a Chucky doll?
No.
Okay.
But it is
because I don't know. I can't handle that.
It is in that realm though. So
boy. Please do share it with us.
I mean, as you know, we live in Syracuse, and there's a lot of old houses. Some built in the 1800s, early 1900s. So one day I was at this house that was built in I think it was built in 1820 or something like that.
Okay.
And it was me and my buyer, and we walk in. We open the door, walk in, we start going through the house. And now, mind you, when I go through a house, I will shut the door behind me, and I don't lock the door. Okay. Because I don't necessarily have to, because you schedule your appointment, right? You have 15, 20, 30 minutes to go through the house by yourself as a private showing. So we're going through the house, and all of a sudden we just hear a door slam, right? And we're like, is anybody supposed to be here? Like, So we look out the window, we drive, no cars are in the driveway, nobody's on the road. All of a sudden we walk downstairs, and the front door was shut and locked.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a little creepy. So I'm not sure that I shut the front door. Maybe I did, but I definitely don't lock it.
That is something you don't do.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
It was a little odd.
Yeah.
I didn't. We didn't feel anything odd.
So let me ask you a question. Did you guys write an offer on that house?
No. No. Unfortunately, we didn't. But how cool would it have been,
Yeah, I guess. That seems wild.
Yeah. So it was. So
I'm going to let you stick with real estate. And because I remember I did a live video for an agent. And you guys can probably find it on my Facebook business page. If you scroll back, maybe it was definitely 2 summers ago. I did a live video for a real estate agent, and we walked around to show the garage in the backyard, and they had a swing set. And on the swing set was a doll. I about dropped my phone. I was live video. I was like, oh my God, there's a doll on the swing set. Like, freaked me out totally. And I remember thinking that day, like, y'all can keep your job, I'll do the mortgages.
Yeah, I've been in a few houses that I've had my fair share of scary things.
Yeah.
That have either popped up or happened to me while we're touring. So, and you know what? It's always the older houses. I don't know. Maybe they're just creaky. But
sure,
it's always something with the older houses.
I think so. Brandy and I did an open house last weekend too, and one of the bedrooms had a bunch of dolls, and it like brought me back to that moment when I was doing that live video, and there was the doll on the swing, and I was just like, and then I'm thinking, did you think that seller did that on purpose? Like, come on, so weird.
There are some things you walk in, you're like, was that staged there? Was that put there?
I know. Like, they knew we were coming to do the video.
Maybe the eyes are cameras and they're like watching you.
Chills. So, okay, well, next we're going to talk a little bit about the market from a loan officer's point of view, and then, of course,
Sure.
realtor's point of view. So I think from a loan officer's point of view, the market is starting to shift a little bit, but what we're really seeing is I can honestly say it was easier to get approved for a mortgage before the pandemic than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I mean, that's we put these in place and whatnot to make sure we don't have another housing crisis or another crash. But and everybody's worried about the interest rates. It's a little different now because throughout this whole pandemic, rates steadily were going down, 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 and now they're
starting to come back up,
bouncing back up, and everybody's so scared. So maybe you could share a little bit about how you see the market, how you support your buyers who are in this hostile environment. I'm sure that they come to you and they're like, Jake, my lender is telling me now the rate is this. Like, what the heck? What do we do? Or now, do they even qualify now with the higher interest rate? Because a lot of, people are already shopping at their max. So how do you kind of help your buyers when they come to you with this?
Well, the first thing is, you never want to be afraid of making an offer or walking away from an offer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no house worth overpaying for it. And that's kind of my first thought process when we're going to look at houses with buyers. In this market, you're gonna be into bid wars, maybe 3, 4, 5 other offers that are at the top that you're competing with. But you want to make sure, for me, my clients anyways, I make sure that we don't go too high, right? If we go too high and then they call me in 5 years and they say, hey, Jake, I want you to sell the house. I don't want to have the conversation with them. Well, remember when we bought it for $60,000 more than than it was worth
than market value.
Exactly. So I don't ever want to have that conversation with my buyer. So I make sure going in, when we look at a house and we see a good house, we want to make sure that, hey, if we sell this, if we for some reason have to leave in 5 years, can we make some money off of this house? And that's the first thing we go in. I tell every buyer going into the process is, your house it's an investment. That's what it is. It's an investment tool. And a lot of people obviously have that sentimental value to their home, but you can't take it with you.
So that's good. You try and it seems like you try and take the anxiety and the fear almost completely out of your client before you even go to a showing. You just kind of consult them on, look, we're going to see this house and these are the facts and this is what we're going to do if you like it. And that's it, so that they can kind of go in and enjoy it. That seems really great.
And it's another thing too. You also want to set the expectation with your buyers too, because a lot of buyers might send you a house and say, hey, Jake, I love this house. But you also have to take a look at the whole picture. What are the taxes? Are the taxes way too high for what you're buying? Is it worth it to them? And again, everybody's different.
Right.
But different scenarios come up with different buyers that, you kind of have to bring it back down to the real world, because it's such a surreal thing when you're looking at a house and you're buying your first house.
It's funny. It's almost like your buyer better than they know themselves,
I hope that's the case.
And that's only because you have all of this experience behind you from a lender's perspective and a real estate agent's perspective. And so for you're looking at all those other details that your buyer may not have ever even considered, which is really great. Honestly. I think that really helps to prepare them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to go into a house and the first thing you have to do is, you just bought this house for $250,000 or $300,000 and now you got to change the roof and you got to change the furnace and you got to change this and you got to do that. Cosmetic stuff is okay. But when you are, especially in this market, when you're overbidding on a price that's, the market where prices are already high, and then you have to spend more money to get the house where it needs to be. it can really take a toll on your equity down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Okay, so I do want to wrap up a little bit and
Sure.
let everyone know that you can find us on TikTok as well. So please check us out on TikTok.
Yes, we are on TikTok.
Okay.
I think mine is Jake Kippen 1992.
Write
so
that
you
down.
can follow
No.
me. Yeah.
We'll put it in the comments.
Everything else is Realtor Kippen. Just search Realtor Kippen if you want to find me. Facebook, Instagram is all Realtor Kippen. Even my email is realtorkippen@gmail.com.
Hey,
So
now you know how to contact them.
TikTok's the only thing I didn't keep in line with everything else. But my whole social media strategy is I don't want to be, totally real estate all the time. I have a family. I have 4 kids.
Wait, you're a real person?
I am.
Oh,
I'm not a
way.
robot, Change my oil, will you?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So guys, Kippen's real.
Real Kippen.
So I have a feeling that if you do go to his TikTok, you may find some fun stuff.
Yeah, there's some real estate stuff, but there's some funny stuff in there too. I try to keep everything lighthearted,
Well, be sure to follow us, please. We need followers. I know me especially. I'm trying to reach 1,000 followers so I can go live on TikTok.
Oh, nice.
And then
is that what it is? 1,000?
You have to hit 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So let's get
Maybe
it.
we'll have a competition to see who can reach 1,000 first.
Okay, how many you got so far?
You know what? I
have 212. I check every morning.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I have? I don't know.
Brandy's
don't
gonna
check
check
it
for
that
us and
often.
tell us.
Oh, 112.
Ooh, I'm
I gotta-
100 up
You're
on
100.
you.
Oh man, I gotta kick up the gear here.
So follow Kippen, but then follow me too.
Sorry.
He's choking up over all my followers.
Oh man.
Okay, so as usual, you can get the video broadcast of my podcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then you can get the audio on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Oh, and Spreaker. So be sure to download the audio. And other than that, I'm also on Instagram and TikTok, so don't forget, and so is Kippen. Please be sure to subscribe on YouTube, like us, follow us. We need it all because we're going to get all the exposure, all of it. So other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of your week. And if you need to get a hold of Jake for any real estate needs right now, Jake, how can they call you?
You can't.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Sorry, folks. I got the wrong agent today.
Don't call me. No, that was a joke. 315-744-4043. Text, call. My email is realtorkippen@gmail.com.
Easy.
Anytime I'm available. Make sure if you want to look at a house, you talk to Kim and get pre-qualified.
Whoop, whoop.
But other than that,
I'm your girl. All right, awesome. So Friday, we're going to be talking about the upcoming events over the weekend in Syracuse and Rochester. And also, don't forget, Sunday, Brandy and I will be hitting up some open houses for everyone. Other than that, we will see you next week. And thanks so much for joining.
well, thanks for having me too. I
Of
appreciate
course.
This was fun, so
It was fun. We'll have to do it again.
you let me know.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye, everyone.